What if I told you the bank didn't need your house, your car, or your money because the real collateral was you? In this video, I'm going to break down how your identity, your energy, and your signature have been used as the true backing for debt, and why understanding this shifts you from debtor to power holder. Now, I've studied UCC law, securitization, and the truth behind credit instruments, and I'm here to expose how the system profits from you and not the paperwork. Now, before we dive in, this is not financial advice, okay? This is not legal advice. Consult a attorney, consult a tax professional, whatever the case may be. Do your due diligence. You dig me? If you do your due diligence, you know what I mean, you'll be fine, okay? Don't take everything that I say for face value. Make sure you're doing your own research and your own education, okay? My goal is to really take you out of this mindset of thinking that you're trapped within this system, thinking that you cannot move throughout the system fluidly, okay? The only reason we move through this system with no fluidity is because we don't know the system that we're living in. We don't know the economic system that we are a part of, okay? So this is going to be a real quick video, okay? So make sure you guys are taking notes. Make sure you guys stay all the way to the end, because this is going to be some key information that nobody is talking about. All right, so let's dive straight in. What you think collateral is, okay? Most people believe that collateral is physical, the car, the house, the cash down payment. But in today's system, money isn't backed by assets, it's backed by credit. You dig me? And credit is created from your signature, your SSN, and your trust connected to your SSN. You don't fund the system with money, you fund it with belief and consent. Your body signed the loan, your belief gave it life. You have always been the asset. So when it comes to anything in regards to debt discharge, when it comes to anything in regards to credit, okay? The only reason it works is because of you. The only reason it works is because of the belief that we have in it. And because we have a strong belief in it, that's why it has the value, okay? It's no different from a cryptocurrency. You dig me? Because we discuss on this channel how money is really a fiat. Money is fiat, okay? It's monopoly. It's a piece of paper, okay? Given to us by a power that we gave power to based on our belief, okay? So when you dive into the money aspect, a lot of us think that we have to, we think that life really revolves around money and this, that, and the third, but it really revolves around your energy, okay? And the exchange that you do in order to create money, okay? Let's just talk about the birth of the collateralized person, okay? First things first, when you're first born, you get a birth certificate. And most of us don't know that our birth certificate is actually monetizable, okay? When you think of a birth certificate is almost as close to a bond, okay? It's a receipt, you dig me? And then we talk about your SSN being a tracking number, not only to you, but to a bank account, okay? And then your signature on a loan makes it a negotiable instrument under UCC 3-104. You can look this up. You can write all this stuff down. A lot of us will listen to what I'm saying right now, and instead of doing your due diligence so that you can fully understand, you'll ask questions that you can probably find if you just look up the actual code and law that I'm talking about. UCC 3-104 is going to break down the definition of negotiable instrument. I will pull it up right now, but we don't have time for all that, okay? And that signature is deposited, turned into credit, and then used to back new loans, okay? For most of you guys don't know, the definition of deposit is a unpaid balance, and you can look this up. If you go on Google, matter of fact, we'll do it right now. When you look at the definition of deposit under 12 CFR 204.2, you dig me? It says that deposit means the unpaid balance of money or its equivalent received, okay? So looking at that definition, okay, and you can just go ahead and type in 12 CFR 204.2, the definition, so you don't see that I'm making this up. It means an unpaid balance, dig me? And because it's an unpaid balance, they can only give you a credit. Think about it, store credit. Instead of them giving you money, what do they give you? Store credit. a balance that's not paid, all right? And then they use this very thing to back new loans. So understand, you create the asset and you become the collateral, but you never knew it. The collateral being you. You are the actual asset. This is why the United States has the strength that it has, because we are its financial tools. Okay? So here's how the system, here's the mechanics of the system, and you can look at this under modern money mechanics. You dig me? The bank never gives you real money. We know this, okay? For those of you guys who think that you are getting real money or lawful money, you aren't. You're getting credit. You know what I mean? You're getting a piece of paper. Lawful money is gold. Lawful money is silver. But here, the exchange for lawful money would be credit. Okay? And credit is not real money. Credit is just a typed entry or a deposit, a unpaid balance. Okay? Digital. Okay? Your signature is the real payment. Your signature gives and shows the belief and is the real gold that creates the credit. Without your signature, banks can't participate in commerce. You dig me? The loan is funded by your promise, then resold, securitized, and insured. So, damn, that's 3 ways that they get paid off of your signature. Okay, they resell it, then they securitize it, which is essentially selling it as a mortgage-backed security or whatever the case may be, selling it to Wall Street. And then it's insured, FDIC insured. So if you default on a makeshift loan, they're going to be paid out by the government or by an insurance company that backs loans up. Okay? And then they bundle your loan into a mortgage-backed security or asset-backed bonds. Okay? So your signature plus a loan really just gave them all the money that they needed. But then they'll still come after you and have you pay for a credit that you created on the premise that they risked their own money or that they used their own money to loan you money. But what if I told you they never did that? What if I told you that it was something that they created? Understand me? So the key thing is that you never received their money. They received yours in the form of your energy, signature, and future labor. Because guess what? When you sign for a loan, you think inherently that you're going to have to pay it back. So in that aspect, you go and put in labor to be able to pay back that loan. Whether you're going to work, your 9 to 5, whether you got to go and get sales, whatever the case may be. And that puts you in a repeated cycle of enslavement and not only, helping them get paid, but it helps this entire system go around, because the value that the United States has is the fact that their people will put in labor. Okay? This essentially makes all the companies within the United States thrive, because if people need jobs, then corporations will continue to thrive. They can continue to pay people less than what they're actually deserving of. Okay, so another key point is that they never lent you money. They lent you your own promise. So when you promise to pay something back, you promise that I will pay $100,000 back. But the reality is they just lent you what you promised you would pay, and you don't even know that promise to pay was essentially money that you will receive from the beginning, or that they will receive from the beginning. They kind of give you, they just like you promised to pay something back, they promised to pay you back, to pay you, and they never did. See, when it comes to a consumer credit transaction, everything should, if you are loaning, if you're applying for a loan, or if it's a loan, that it should have lawful consideration. The consideration should be an exchange. So if you ask to borrow $100,000, then they should give you $100,000 in cash. Okay? But if they don't give it to you and they just deposit it into your account, back to the definition of the deposit, and they just deposit it into your account, then guess what? It becomes an unpaid balance that they just gave you. So the law says that it's unpaid. But why do we give it value? Because our belief in it. When we believe that we're actually getting money, when we believe that we're actually getting credit, This is what creates the value. When we put the energy behind paying it back, this is what creates the value, okay? Our conversation today, yes, we're going to talk about some of the laws, but the actual aspect of understanding why, people will say, well, what is the point of all of this? It's the aspect of why we, go out there for the almighty dollar, okay? So let me go to the definition of collateral real quick. When you go to UCC 9-102, which is the definition section for secured transactions, okay, 9-102, definitions and index of definitions, you slide all the way down and you go to the definition of collateral, okay? Collateral means the property subject to a security interest or agricultural lien. The term includes proceeds to which a security interest attaches, accounts, chattel paper, payment intangibles, and promissory notes that have been sold, and goods that are subject to consignment. Okay? It defines collateral as personal property. But what if I told you that personal property is could also be your rights and your interests? You dig me? So if your rights is also considered personal property in the eyes of the law, that is also considered collateral. They want your rights. Understand me? And then we dive into UCC 3-305. UCC 3-305. You can challenge any instrument where there is no lawful value or consideration that was given. Okay? 3-303, value and consideration, breaks down the definition of what value and consideration is. Okay? You put these two laws together, you understand what value and consideration is. Value and consideration is a fundamental foundation of contracts. There should be value and consideration. Okay? There should be an exchange. There should be values exchanged. But when you come to the aspect of you using your signature, which is the value, the financial asset to the bank, and they are not giving something back but a unpaid balance, what value or consideration do they actually give you? What are they actually risking if on the premise of it, it says that they are risking their own money, but they actually aren't? So there is no value and consideration. And if there is no value and consideration, you have defenses under UCC 3-305 to challenge them on that. Challenge the legality, challenge whether you had legal capacity, challenge whether you signed something under duress, challenge whether they committed fraud that induced you to sign the instrument with neither knowledge or reasonable opportunity to learn of its character and essential terms. Anything that you signed without full disclosure was something that's essentially fraudulent, okay? Because they persuaded you to sign something on the premise of information that they omitted. So you could defend yourself against this. All right. Then we can dive into the Truth in Lending Act, but this is one of the key documentation under Financial Accounting Standards boards. Okay. And this essentially reveals how assets are moved off the books and repackaged for profit. Okay. So not only here, but then when you come to the Truth in Lending Act, okay, 15 U.S.C. 1601, the Truth in Lending Act also breaks down the truth about lending, okay? And there are certain disclosures and information that you can ask for as it pertains to loans and lending. So when you use these two in connection together to understand that they take your collateral or you and your belief, which is the signature, and they then repackage it and resell it. It's all broken down in these sections here. And you can ask them for these things, anything in regards to the accounting under the Truth in Lending Act. And if they do not provide that to you, that is considered a lack of disclosure. Okay? See, understand that you are the surety, okay? Also the grantor. The surety is a person who takes responsibility for another's performance or an undertaking, for example, their appearing in court or the payment of debt. But you're also the surety, but then you are also the grantor, okay? Here's a good one, grantor versus surety. Grantor assumes responsibility for the debt only if the principal debtor fails to repay it, making their liability secondary. A surety, on the other hand, is a primarily is primarily liable for the debt and can be held responsible immediately upon default. Okay? So when you put yourself in a position to be both the grantor and the surety, that's where you really create the real source of value. Because they're basically saying, hey, you're going to take full liability for a credit that you loaned yourself and you agreed to it. This is when we unknowingly give up our rights. So now we're going to talk about how to reclaim your authority. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to learn how to challenge contracts, okay? Through conditional acceptance, all right? Now, if you don't know what conditional acceptance is, we're about to talk about it right now. When it comes to conditional acceptance, understanding what you are asking for and what to expect is super important as it pertains to the contract. So, right off the bat, in a conditional acceptance letter, you're going to say, hey, look, I hereby conditionally accept your offer to collect payment on the alleged obligation referenced above upon your presentation of the following documentation. Okay, so the documentation needed is, hey, a verified copy of the original wet ink signature of the promissory notes or contract showing my signature. Proof that you are the lawful holder in due course of said instrument per UCC 3-302. Full accounting and transaction ledger showing the origin of the debt and all payments for adjustments made. Legal proof that valuable consideration was given by your institution or client in exchange for the original note. And then proof that the debt has not already been discharged, sold, or satisfied through tax write-offs, insurance, or third-party settlements. Okay? A copy of the IRS 1099-C or 1099-A form, if applicable, and confirmation that you are in compliance with 15 U.S.C. 1692G and 15 U.S.C. 1601 Truth in Lending Act. And 8, affirmation that no third-party debt collector is misrepresenting their standing in violation of federal law. Dig me? It's a lot of things that you're asking a debt collector, and if they're unable to provide this, then when you shift the burden of proof for them to provide the proofs of these and they're unable to provide any of these, then you cannot accept their offer. Okay? This is also considered a performance, and you have a right to challenge a contract using these terms here. Okay? A lot of people don't know that. Okay? The other aspect is you want to issue an affidavit of truth. Affidavit of truth being, in the affidavit of truth, you're asking things like, I, your name, Nicholas Burns, a living man or woman, declaring the following to be true, correct, and complete to the best of my knowledge. Number 1, I have no verified knowledge of a lawful contract, agreement, or obligation between myself and your agency or the alleged creditor. I have never received full disclosure, consideration, or a wet ink signed agreement proving the meeting of the minds. I dispute the alleged debt in its entirety and assert that it may have been satisfied, bonded, discharged, or securitized, or otherwise settled. And number 4, I'm unaware of any lawful claim that your office has that supersedes my rights under contract, commerce, and constitution. When you send an affidavit of truth and you put out these points and you say, well, listen, this affidavit stands as truth unless rebutted point for point within 10 days of this receipt, and you put these things out there, your truths, and they are unable to respond to it, they are forfeiting their right to the truth. If this is not the truth, then just say something about it. And you better be truthful. Okay? You better be able to prove that my truths are not correct. Okay? So when you pair conditional acceptance and you pair affidavit of truth, establishing you as the value, establishing that there is no meeting of the minds, establishing the information that you learned today or learned through accounting, learned through your signature and promissory note, and they don't rebut to it, then it stands as truth. And this could be used against them. You also want to reserve your rights under UCC 1-308, which is the Reservation of Rights Code. Okay, you want to also refuse to be treated as a surety and demand to be recognized as the creditor. Since I'm the one that funded the loan, I'm the one who wrote my signature and gave you guys the ability to use this as a financial instrument. Use me as collateral. You know what I mean? And the next thing and most important thing is to shift your mindset. Understand that you are not the liability. You are the assets at all times. You are never just a borrower. You are always the bank. Okay? The only way a bank can participate in commerce is if you believe in the system, if you put in applications, if you sign, and if you sign, believe, then credit is created. Okay? Now, this was a short video, so understand that from the moment you were born, the system tagged you, tracked you, and traded you. But once you know that you are the collateral all along, you stop playing defense and start reclaiming your value. Okay? They tagged you, and did all these things, and essentially made you a financial asset to them. So start acting like it. Imagine if you owned something that pretty much, you know what I mean? What if something that you owned made a lot of money for you? You would treat it right. As a matter of fact, whatever they said, you would make sure to adhere to what they need. Imagine if you had a salesperson on your team that did an amazing job. Hey, look, boss man, I need to take a break today. Well, oh, sure, of course you can. You can take a break today because I know tomorrow you're going to kill it. Or, hey, boss man, I need my own cell phone. Of course, man. You made me well over the cost of a cell phone. Yes, I can do that for you. Boss man, I need to adjust my schedule. Oh man, I'll make sure all my calls go during your schedule. You get what I'm saying? So just like a salesperson on your team that is an asset to the team, you're going to invest in them. You're going to treat them right. And that's exactly where you come in. Okay? If you know that you're the one that's actually creating the value, not only for the banks, but also for the United States, you will move differently. You will make sure to exercise your rights as the collateral. Okay? You will use that power against them. All right? So this is a short one. If you got all the way to the end, thank you guys for watching the video. Remember to comment the word discharge. All right? First things first, you want to learn how to do this properly. You want a PDF and understand the legal and have the legal templates for reclaiming your standing. Go ahead and grab the Complete That Guide. The Complete That Guide is going to have all these resources and instructions and guides. Tap into the Complete That Guide. It's down below. Okay, number two, if you want to work with me one-on-one, okay, specifically people who are in the space of wanting to fix their credit, wanting to get funding so that they can invest in themselves and their business, and wanting to understand and learn consumer law for their benefit, tap into my one-on-one mentorship. Okay, it is a private coaching experience, so anybody that works with me will be able to get any game that they ask for, that they know. That I can be able to help them with. So tap into that one-on-one mentorship. That one-on-one mentorship link is down below. Make sure to follow all the steps, because I don't just get on the phone with anybody, and I'll be able to tell if you followed all the steps. All right. Number three, follow me on Instagram at biz.nick. Okay. You want to be able to get updates, YouTube, things of that nature. Tap into the social media. Shoot me a follow and stay up to date. And my last question is, have you ever felt like the system was using your energy without permission? Drop your experience in the comment section, because you are not alone. And then lastly, remember to like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications so that you can get an update every time I post a video, because the asset doesn't stay silent forever. Thank you guys once again. If you got all the way to the end, comment the word discharge, and I'll see you in the next one.